Hi, very good afternoon. It's Dean from maverickstar. I just wanted to quickly drop in, guys, and thank those few people over the last few days that have been helping us, keep things going here at the observatory. I also wanted to thank not just the people that chip in using that link, the PayPal link, but also our patrons. Thanks for staying with us. What important times we're in right now, and not getting any easier. I'm finding more and more people are getting harassed in some way or form by some of these governmental departments. Someone told me that Dutch Sense had, I don't know how true this is, had his computers removed by the FBI. What seems to be the triggering or the activating mechanism of these visits and this treatment seems to be when you become very popular. And in Dutch Sense case and Christian's case with the Ice Age farmer, they both had made it onto mainstream news shortly after that had happened. That was I believe the actuation of these treatments that they're doing. I know it's the governments behind it that are controlling these platforms, and the way in which they're controlling them is they are basically threatening to shut them down, and they are using the fact that it is in the public's best interest and safety to do that. So unless they fall in line in some way or form and target certain individuals like myself, and I'm not joking, we do get targeted, and we get targeted I believe by certain organisations. They have specific departments to disrupt, just like you would expect from secret services. Now I know you're thinking, come on Gene, you're not that important, but I'm not joking. These departments are going out for people with alternative views, and especially views that are not in alignment with their agendas that they're pushing. Over the years I've tried to encourage people to look into some of the things that we talk about here: the pole shift, the grand solar minimum, and the returning back into a glacial period of time, and if possibly make some preparations for this. People ask me all the time the same questions. I get asked, what's your credentials? How many times have we really got to do this? How many times have we got to show people the credentials, show people the equipment? But not just that, we also get people ask, where's the best places to be? Well, if the northern and the southern regions of our Earth is returning back into a glacial period, or perhaps not being in one of these places would be a good start. Perhaps anywhere lower than 40 degrees latitude would be probably a good idea. So we can keep going over the same old questions, but I would rather concentrate on just focusing really on a few key things. Yes, I've got to say this though, guys, we are going to come under more attack. I don't know whether you follow Jordan B. Peterson and seen what's going on in his life recently through making comments, I think mostly on the Joe Rogan show. He was talking about this woke society, in particular transgender, and moving from one gender to another via operations, and the fact that this has been conducted on young children that thought they knew what they wanted and then changed their mind. However, for some of these levels of operations, things have changed dramatically now, and it can't be undone, and these people are now left in some cases ruined for life, mentally and physically. And Jordan was talking about these things. He's a professor of psychology. He's attached to a few universities, one being in Canada, which has almost done it in their best interest to revoke his licence so he can't practice anymore, which is how they go about doing what they're doing. If they cannot regulate you via your employers, then they will go out for other means. Now, it's very difficult for them, obviously, with me, because I live almost a reclusive lifestyle and my footprint on the internet is very limited in any case. So, if I'm on my website improving it, and we have had, believe it or not, even though it's my website, on a private supplier of that domain, I have had them still go on there removing climate information from that website. And this is exactly what we saw back in the 1930s with the Nazis setting fire to books and burning literature. In one hand they tell us we live in a democracy and we have the freedoms of democracy, one being freedom of speech, having the freedom of thought and expression and sharing those views with everyone else. But on the other hand, they go around snooping in the background, threatening companies to kick you off, etc., etc. I mean, we've put up with quite a lot, and I don't talk about it too much. There is no way we will ever get the monetization back on this platform, so that we could make a bit of revenue with adverts. And I know that some of you wouldn't mind watching the adverts if you knew it was supporting what we do, but we have been barred from that because they said our content wasn't suitable. So, we have also constantly had to put up with a first strike policy. As soon as that strike finishes, another one is put in straight in place. And we've had warnings as well, just for talking about, can you believe it, the weather in some circumstances, and about subjects that they say we have the freedoms to talk about, but clearly when it comes down to it, we don't. So there is a concerted effort to shut down any alternative views on any of these subjects from these organisations like the United Nations. I pointed out how hypocritical they are. What they said was that platforms like this one and people that talk about climate alternatively to their line of thoughts and thinking are responsible for causing the death and destruction of people. Can you believe that? If you've followed me for long enough, you know I would never promote anything of the sorts. Ever. I am totally against war because it will achieve nothing but misery for everyone involved in it. And it's not me that is handing out, missiles, bombs and bullets, because I would never do that. I have a love for the fellow man and humankind and our species. I have a love for science and all the species of biodiversity on our planet. I want to protect that. And I also want to, inform people that our world is changing, and for many reasons now. And not only is it changing in a physical, natural nature way, it is also changing because of the policies of some of these organisations. Whatever happened, to quote Jordan Peterson, whatever happened to protecting the poor? And he is absolutely right. As I have mentioned, more than once on this platform, that when they drove up the price of energy in a concerted manner, all of them working together in all the countries, because this is something that has been plastered out globally now, when they drove up the price of energy, they made the poorest people more poor, and they drove up the cost of everything, absolutely everything. And that also includes something which is becoming more scarce by the day, and that is the agricultural production and productive lands that makes and obviously produces the food. They're going after farmers. It doesn't make any sense at all to me, any of this policies, all on the back of what? Blaming CO2. It's ludicrous, and it goes against every essence of any science. This is insane what's taking place right now. And they are upholding their promise. They have changed and destroyed the world economy over this, and they aren't stopping there. If we thought, that these people was not from this earth, and what they wanted to do was destroy human beings, it would be believable, but that would be more science fiction than science fact. This is being caused by greed and corruption and the will to steal, and nothing more and nothing less. And we need to work together in order to set this record straight, because we cannot afford to leave it the way it is. Which is why I will do everything within my power to bring about those changes, and I am brave enough to think that even just me as one person can make a change. And if I've got 10 people behind me, then we can make a change. And it needs to be done, because our children are going to suffer more than what they are now. You know as well as I do what the environment out there is like right now for these kids that are growing up with very little futures, and they've been stolen away from them by these greedy people, and it needs to stop. None of us, I'm sure you would agree with me, that none of us would have minded a little bit of corruption here and there. It's always been the case. But what we've got here is something on the scale that destroyed, similarly, the Egyptian Empire, similarly destroyed the Roman Empire, and is destroying the current empires right now, right before our eyes. Too much corruption will bring down any nation on this planet, and right now they've got together in a massive hedge fund, and they are doing just that, just so that they can wax themselves rich on the back of destroying the lives of literally billions of people. It needs to be addressed, and not talking about it is not the answer. More talk needs to be done on this topic, and I know I've talked about quite a few different things here in this video, and I can just imagine what some people are going to say in the comment section. And I'll be honest with you, I really have got tired of deleting these people and their comments. I just leave them to it now, because I think I've stated my case and proved my worth over these years of doing these videos and doing this research and doing this work as honestly as I possibly could. If you are in any two doubts about my honesty and my integrity, then the logical thing for you to do is just leave and unsubscribe. Simple as that. But if you are confident that I have been in your corner ever since we started this 10, nearly 11 years ago, then you might want to go just that little bit further and help support what we do. And there is a link down there in the description where you can do that. Guys, I am in your corner, and I want to change this for us, for me and you, for your loved ones, for my loved ones, and for our children of tomorrow. That's what I usually do. Bye for now.